Part 76. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 755. Qin Ji has been very busy these days, in every sense of the word. Iron-blooded ship girls are quite out of the box. Every day's appointments start in the morning and end at night. When I come back, it's already dark after dinner. After chatting with a few ship girls for a while, I have to go to bed to prepare for tomorrow. Date. It wasn't until tonight that Qin Ji completed his mission. No, it should be regarded as a generally completed task, because Bismarck had been given a ring before, but there was no date. This time when iron-blooded Qin Ji came to iron-blooded Qin Ji, he had promised Bismarck to give her a ring, so it was almost scheduled for tomorrow. But Bismarck himself was not notified of this matter, so after dinner, Qin Ji came to Bismarck's door and knocked on the door. "Commander? Didn't you go on a date with Zeppelin today? Did you come back so early?" Bismarck opened the door and saw Qin Ji's figure, and said with some surprise. "It was precisely because I went on a date with Chi Bolin that I was able to come back early. If it was with someone else, I would still be on the way now." Qin Ji smiled. "Haha, you've worked hard these past 2 days, Commander. Come in and talk." As Bismarck spoke, he opened the door and allowed Qin Ji to enter her room. Bismarck led Qin Ji to sit on the sofa, and then asked Qin Ji, "Commander, do you want tea or coffee? Or beer?" When he heard the word beer, Qin Ji was stunned for a moment, then waved his hand. "Forget it, we are here to talk about business today, so coffee is fine." "Yes." So Bismarck nodded and walked aside, picked up a bag of instant coffee, tore it open and poured it into a cup. After waiting for the hot water to boil, he poured a cup of coffee and brought it to Qin Ji. "I'm not too good at this kind of thing, so I can only entertain you briefly." "I hope the commander won't dislike it," Bismarck said. Qin Ji took it with a smile. "How can I dislike it? I can drink coffee brewed by Bismarck himself. I guess I am the only one in this world, and I don't have time to be happy." "Commander, you are joking." Bismarck showed a faint smile on his face. She liked the feeling of being with Qin Ji. Sometimes she would be nervous because of work, but most of the time she was by Qin Ji's side. Being able to relax and not have to remind yourself all the time that you are an iron-blooded leader. "But the commander just said that you came here to talk about business. What exactly is it?" Seeing Bismarck asking, Qin Ji smiled and said, "Of course it's a date tomorrow." "Dating? With whom?" Bismarck looked confused. Qin Ji couldn't help but help his forehead. "Have you forgotten that I promised you to take you out on a date when you came to Iron-Blooded? Now you have come to Iron-Blooded, but because your work was relatively tight before, so I can only lead others to learn it first, but I have never forgotten this matter, and today I am here to tell you this serious matter." Bismarck was stunned for a moment, then his face softened. "It's great that the commander can remember this, but it's not needed now because the cooperation with Iron Blood has not been discussed yet." Qin Ji interrupted, "Then let it go, or go to Frederick the Great and ask her to help you." "This." Bismarck looked at Qin Ji and was speechless. Qin Ji sighed, "There are many talented people in Iron Blood. Don't shoulder everything on yourself. Besides, negotiating with Iron Blood is the fleet's business, not yours alone. Bismarck's business, so kinks you don't reverse the order. It's been decided that I will come to you for a date tomorrow. After I leave, you can briefly talk to Frederick the Great and ask her to go there for you tomorrow. I believe that if you know better, you will definitely agree." Listening to Qin Ji's very determined tone, Bismarck wanted to refute, but found that he couldn't say it at all. "I know, but it doesn't matter whether I go on a date or not, as long as the commander is by my side. That's my biggest wish," Bismarck said. "This is just your wish. Love is mutual. I also have my wish." "Do you want to hear it?" Qin Ji asked. "I think." Bismarck nodded. Qin Ji pointed to his side, sit down and let me tell you. Facing Qin Ji's instructions, Bismarck instantly felt like he was back to that night. Without refusing, Bismarck blushed and sat next to Qin Ji. Qin Ji directly stretched out his hand and hugged Bismarck into his arms. This action surprised Bismarck, but he did not resist. He fell obediently into Qin Ji's arms and immediately heard Qin Ji's heartbeat. The powerful pacing made Bismarck's stiff body soften instantly. "This is my wish, do you understand, Bismarck?" Qin Ji said softly. "Just like this, I can hold you tightly in my arms and let you experience the joy of being a woman instead of an iron-blooded leader." "Commander." Qin Ji shook his head, "I know the meaning of the 3 words Bismarck, and I also know the dream in your heart, but on the way to chase your dream, please allow yourself to take a rest occasionally, and my arms will always be your safe haven. Although this haven is not strong, I will try my best to protect you from the wind and rain. There are not so many calculations, not so many plans, just lean here and have a good rest. When we have enough energy, we can start again. You and I, we will always be together." Bismarck did not speak, but nodded close to Qin Ji's chest, and then silently felt the strength of this arm. Qin Ji didn't speak anymore, and the two simply hugged each other. Perhaps this was the most suitable way for the two of them to get along. After a long time, when Qin Ji's body felt a little stiff where he was sitting, Bismarck stood up from his arms. "Tisk, it seems that the recent trip has delayed physical exercise. After sitting for a while, I feel a little numb. I have to start training again when I return to the port area. Then I will rely on you," Bismarck. Qin Ji said. "Well, I will definitely supervise the commander seriously," Bismarck said. "That's good. Then I'll leave first. I'll go back to find Charybdis and ask her to squeeze my shoulders. Don't forget your appointment tomorrow. I will come to you early." Then Qin Song smiled. "Please rest assured, Commander, I will definitely go to the appointment on time," Bismarck said with a smile. "Also, when you are fine, can I go find you? Just like I did just now." Qin Ji smiled and patted his chest. "If you are willing, you are welcome to rely on me at any time." My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 756. The date with Bismarck went smoothly on the second day, or to Qin Ji's perception, this kind of Bismarck was the most normal person in Iron Blood. When shopping with her, she will be shy, but at the same time she will smile, follow her around all the time, and occasionally offer some advice. There is no sharp edge, nor is Qin Ji leading the way repeatedly. Walking on the iron-blooded streets, I really feel like a lover. But what's interesting is that, perhaps because she is a Bismarck, wherever she meets some ship girls and commanders, her jaws drop. Because they had never believed that Bismarck could have such a gentle look. Although this Bismarck was not the supreme leader of her iron-blooded camp, she was still Bismarck. However, such an episode obviously cannot disturb the mood of the two of them shopping. They are both strong-willed people and will not change their opinions just because of a few words from others. After playing like this for a day, I returned to the hotel where I was staying when night fell. As soon as Qin Ji returned to the room, he saw Guanghui sitting on the sofa in his room, drinking tea leisurely. "How was today's date, Commander?" Guanghui asked with a smile. "It's quite successful, but Guanghui, when did you come here and have you been waiting here?" Qin Ji asked while hanging the commander's hat on the hanger. "After the tea party with Hood, I felt quite bored when I returned to my room, so I came to the commander's room to wait for you." Guanghui stood up with a smile, walked to Qin Ji and started to help him take off his clothes. Code. "I'm sorry, I've been busy dating the iron-blooded girls every day lately, so I've somewhat neglected you," Qin Ji said apologetically. "There's nothing to be embarrassed about. When we were in the royal family, Tai Shui and the others were also waiting. After all, there is only one commander, Guanghui said with a smile. That's not what I said. I'm sorry, it's just for you. Qin Ji embraced Guanghui. I can still see you every day in Belfast, but I haven't seen you for several days. I haven't spoken to you either, so I feel a little embarrassed. Guanghui smiled and said, Commander, there is no need to apologize. I understand your intentions, so I will support you. As long as there is a place for me in your heart, I will be happy. What are you talking about? Why don't you have a place in my heart? Qin Ji smiled. You are my first wedding ship, and you are also one of the ship girls who has been with me the longest, and you will always be there in the future. By my side, I also hope that one day, if I am too old to walk, you can help me walk. Commander is so young, how can he be too old to walk? Guanghui said with a smile, but the sadness in her eyes could not be hidden from Qin Ji's eyes. Regarding the concept of time, Guanghui has experienced more than others. She has witnessed many commanders grow from young to old, so what Qin Ji said touched her deeply. Well, I said something wrong. It should be that we still have a long time in the future, and we must live happily every day, Qin Ji said with a smile. Well, that's it, Commander. Guanghui smiled, turned around and hung up Qin Ji's clothes. How long do you plan to stay in Iron Blood, Commander? As far as I know, Iron Blood has almost given you the rings, right? Qin Ji nodded. Yes, including Bismarck's date today, the iron-blooded ship girl in my heart has already distributed the rings, and has also completed the appointment agreement. It's about these few days, probably. You can leave Iron Blood now. The next stop after leaving Iron Blood is to go to the Iris Theocracy, right? Guanghui said with a smile, but the Iris Theocracy is divided into two camps, the Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See. I don't know which camp we are going to receive. Are you saying that we have to go to the base areas of both camps? Qin Ji smiled and said, I have actually been asking about this matter in the past 2 days. According to the information collected by Bismarck, after the Siren Tide, Free Iris and the Holy See were temporarily united. After all, a large number of commanders and ship girls were lost, and the foundation of the strength of both camps was shaken. Now they have chosen the wisest approach. So what you mentioned by Guanghui will not happen for the time being. This time when we go to the Iris Theocracy, you may see a happy scene between the two camps. Haha, I think this is good. They were originally ship girls from the same camp. Due to some reasons of interests and beliefs, they split into two camps. Now they have become one camp again. This is a good thing, Guanghui said with a smile. Yes, although this siren tide caused serious damage to the major camps in the world, it also made them aware of the strength of the sirens and would not do anything rash and aggressive. And unite forces that can unite and strengthen scientific and technological exchanges with other camps, so that we can have better response plans. Qin Ji said with a smile, pulling Guanghui to sit down. Well, I accidentally started talking about these things. Guanghui just asked me when I would go to Free Iris. Do I have any plans? I have long heard that the Cathedral of Iris is very famous, so I hope that the commander can take me to visit it, Guanghui said with a smile. In fact, for her, visiting the cathedral is secondary. The most important thing is to be able to with Qin Ji. I have heard of the Cathedral of Iris, but I don't know how big this cathedral is. Is it much bigger than the church in our port area? Qin Ji said with a smile. Of course it is bigger than the church in our port area. It is the most famous building in the Iris Theocracy, Guanghui said with a smile. But I think the church in our port area is not bad. The most important thing is that the vow ceremony between me and Guanghui was held there, and the vow ceremony with other people will also be held there in the future. In my heart, she is better than the status of Iris Cathedral is much higher, Qin Ji said with a wink. Haha, I suddenly feel that the commander is a bit unreasonable, but it is indeed the case. Visiting the Iris Cathedral is just to experience its splendor and magnificence, while the small church in our port area is full of our feelings and sustenance, no matter what, no other church can compare to it, Guanghui said with a smile. Yeah, but I agreed to Guanghui's request. When I go to the Iris Theocracy, I will definitely visit the Iris Cathedral with you, Qin Ji said. Haha, then the commander will call more people. It can't be just me, otherwise others will feel that the commander is partial, Guanghui said with a smile. Ha, that's right, Qin Ji nodded. If you have time then, let's go visit together, just like we had snowball fights and skiing together in Northern United. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 757. Now that Commander Qin Ji has made up his mind, I won't say anything to persuade him to stay. I hope that we can maintain close contact and exchanges in the future, and we will also start building a direct communication line to Guam. By then the communication between us will be very convenient and stable, and there will be no need to cross oceans. The iron-blooded Bismarck said to Qin Ji. Okay, we will also join in this construction, and we look forward to coming to Iron Blood next time, Qin Ji said with a smile. I'm looking forward to it too, Bismarck nodded. There wasn't much communication, because what needed to be said had been discussed within a few days, so for both parties, this time it was just a simple farewell. After leaving the iron-blooded port, Qin Ji drove towards Brest in accordance with the agreement he had made with Free Iris at that time. Because the distance between Holstein and Brest was not very far, it only took more than half a day to travel before encountering the fleets greeted by Free Iris and Vichy Holy See in the sea. Moreover, these two people were also relatively familiar to Qin Ji. They had stayed in Qin Ji's fleet for a period of time before, including the Utopia-class sister ships Triumph and Vicious. Sister Evil, our mission is to escort Commander Qin Ji's fleet to the port of Brest, not to rest on his command ship. Kaixuan said helplessly as he looked at Evil lying on the table. Evil shook his head slightly. No, I'm so sleepy, and Commander Qin Ji's fleet is much stronger than the two of us, so there's no need for us to escort him. Kaixuan glanced helplessly at Qin Ji, who was snickering next to him, and said awkwardly, but the two of us are here as representatives of Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See. We must have certain etiquette. It's okay, Triumph. With our relationship with Commander Qin Ji, he won't care about it anyway, Vicious said with his eyelids drooping, just let me take a rest. The reconstruction tasks during this period have almost exhausted me to death. Okay, it's not easy to come here and be lazy. Well. Kaixuan was speechless for a moment. Qin Ji laughed at the side, it doesn't matter, just let Vicious take a rest. Kaixuan, you just need to show me the way. Don't worry about safety. As for etiquette, we have been together for so long that there is no need to talk about those cliched things. Hearing what Qin Ji said, Vicious immediately raised his head and glanced at Qin Ji, and then fell asleep more leisurely. Kaixuan couldn't help but shook his head. Commander Qin Ji, even though you say this, we still have to show the freedom of Iris and the sincerity of maintaining the Holy See. On behalf of my evil sister, I am here to say sorry to you for making you laugh. It doesn't matter. In fact, this makes our relationship very close, doesn't it? Qin Ji smiled. So have you Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See temporarily reached an agreement? Well, although we took different paths because of our different ideas before, now that we are facing a powerful enemy, we must unite as one to successfully allow the theocracy to continue to exist. This cannot be achieved by faith and path choice. Changed Kaixuan explained to Qin Ji. I understand, actually I think it's good for you to be like this. Qin Ji smiled and said, your origins are the same. If you unite like this, you will be stronger in the future. If you encounter this siren tide again, you will definitely do better. With the triumphal guidance, the love song fleet moved even faster. The originally expected time was to arrive at Iris Liberty at 6 in the afternoon. However, shortly after noon, it arrived at Iris Liberty at nearly 3 or 4 o'clock. Greeting Qin Ji's fleet were Richelieu, representing the Archbishop of Free Iris, and Jean Bart, the protective knight of the Vichy Holy See. But when they saw the embarrassed Triumph, and the sleepy-eyed viciousness beside the Triumph, Richelieu and the two knew what had happened. "Sorry, Commander Qin Ji, it seems that the reception ship we sent out made you laugh," Richelieu said apologetically. Qin Ji shook his head. "No, Kaichuan and I are very familiar with each other, so I asked them to come to my command ship and chatted all the way. I am also very grateful to Free Iris and the Vichy Curia for sending both of them to greet me." Seeing that Qin Ji didn't express much about this matter, Richelieu immediately selectively ignored the topic. "On behalf of Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See, I welcome the arrival of Commander Qin Ji and express my gratitude for your fleet's assistance in the NA waters this time," Richelieu said. "This is what I should do as a commander. After all, we are all part of Azalane, right?" Qin Ji said with a smile. "Indeed, there are very few commanders who can reach the level of Commander Qin Ji, so no one has ever achieved this pioneering feat, but it is precisely because of this that we see hope. We also hope that this exchange can become the basis for sincere cooperation between the two parties in the future to protect the world together," Richelieu said. "Well, I also agree with what you said, Richelieu. Protecting the world does not just rely on the strength of one camp or force, but requires all camps to unite and cooperate with each other in order to coexist in future changes." Qin Ji smiled. "Yes, but we will have more time to talk about these later. Now is the time for the welcome ceremony. However, since the reconstruction work is still in progress, this ceremony may be a little unethical. I hope Commander Qin Ji can forgive me." Richelieu smiled. "It doesn't matter. In fact, for me, the simpler the better, otherwise if it is too grand, it will look too polite." 2. The two looked at each other and smiled, then walked ahead along the red carpet towards the outside of the port. Free Iris gives Qin Ji a much more delicate feeling than Iron Blood and Northern United, and the church style here is very strong, with a special atmosphere everywhere. "How do you feel about Iris here, Commander Qin Ji?" Jean Bart, who seemed to see Qin Ji looking around, asked behind the two of them. Qin Ji turned around and smiled. "This place gives people a very special feeling, as if it can make people calm down. It is indeed the Iris theocracy. It has a sacred feeling." "Well, that's all Iris deserves praise for now," Jean Bart said. "Don't you think this is bad?" Qin Ji asked. "It's not bad, it's just a little bit rigid. But Commander Qin Ji may not have deep feelings when he comes here for the first time, which is also a good thing," Jean Bart said. "Jean Bart?" Richelieu's voice hesitated. "It's okay, it's just something I feel. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 758. After settling down at the place arranged by the Iris theocracy, Qin Ji was also a little grateful when he saw Belfast helping to organize things. "I visited several camps during this period. The longest one was just over a week, and the shortest one was Northern United, which was less than a week. During this period, Belfast helped me change places of accommodation many times, organize things, etc. Otherwise, I would have been very exhausted." Thinking of this, Qin Ji walked to Belfast and hugged her from behind, which also made Belfast feel helpless while he was sorting out. Wait a minute, I'm still packing things." Qin Ji couldn't help but smile when he heard Belfast's words. "I don't have any strange thoughts now, I just want to hug you. If it weren't for you, I would be in so much trouble." "Haha, master, although you have said this several times, Why does it make me so happy every time? Although it is my duty to help master, your compliments really make me more happy. Belfast laughed. After all, this is the truth. Chin-Ji kissed Belfast on the face. By the way, are you going to help Hood and the others later? Yes, does the master have anything else to do? If so, just tell me, Belfast asked. Nothing, I just want to ask you. If you want to go to Hood and the others later, then I will go to Richelieu. After all, we have arrived at Liberty Iris now. It is also time to make arrangements for Liberty Iris and Victoria. It's the Queen of the Holy See, Chin-Ji said. Belfast nodded. Indeed, actually the master can go now, I can take care of the room. How bad is this? Chin-Ji shook his head. Even if you don't let me do it, I have to accompany you to finish this. Well, the tidying up will be finished soon. There isn't much to do, it's just to put out commonly used items, so the commander should go find Miss Richelieu. After all, the next few days will be a big event for the commander. Don't delay, said Belfast. Chin-Ji thought for a while and realized that Belfast was right, so he readily agreed and asked Belfast to come back when he was changing his clothes. He left the room and walked towards Richelieu's house. When I arrived at Richelieu's room, I found that the door was not closed, but open. Chin-Ji stood outside the door, looked inside, and found that Richelieu was standing aside with a blank look on his face, watching Forbin tidying up in the room. Seeing this scene, Chin-Ji couldn't help but feel happy. It's not that I can't sort it out, it's just that Belfast won't let me sort it out. But at this time, Richelieu seemed like a little woman who couldn't eat the fireworks of the world. So Chin-Ji knocked on the door and immediately attracted the attention of two people. Hey, the commander is here. Forbin was the first to speak. She said with some surprise after seeing Chin-Ji. Richelieu's face was red at this time, as if Chin-Ji had suddenly discovered something bad. Well, I came here to see Richelieu for something, but it seems I came at the wrong time. You guys are also taking care of it. Chin-Ji smiled. Forbin smiled and said, it's okay, Commander. We've almost finished packing now. We just need to hang up the bishop's clothes. If you're not in a hurry, just wait a while. Chin-Ji nodded. I'm not in a hurry, so you can just clean it up. How about the commander sit here? Richelieu pointed to the sofa next to him and said to Chin-Ji. Yeah, Chin-Ji nodded and sat down with Richelieu. Didn't the commander tidy up the room? Richelieu asked. Chin-Ji shook his head. Bifa was there to help me clean up, and she wouldn't let me help her even if I wanted to, so I had no choice but to come over. Oh, I forgot that there is a royal maid team with you, Richelieu said sheepishly, but what's the matter with commander coming here now? Chin-Ji smiled and said, actually, there is nothing urgent, but since we have come to Free Iris, I'd better discuss with you the negotiations with the two major camps of Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See, as well as some trivial matters. After all, we don't have Jean-Bar in the port area yet. Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See are both under your command, so I have to find you about this matter. Do you want to negotiate and cooperate with the two major camps of Free Iris and Vichy Holy See here? Richelieu said softly, actually, I don't have much opinion. After all, I am your ship's wife, Commander. According to the same negotiation conditions as other camps, just talk to them. I believe that after so many things have happened, they will not easily refuse our cooperation now. Chin-Ji nodded, that's true, but after all, you are also one of the camp leaders in our port area, especially since this negotiation is still with Free Iris, so I want to hear your opinion. Now that you say so, I feel relieved. In addition, I am ready to send Bismarck and you to participate in this negotiation, just like I did in other camps twice before. There is no problem with this. It is related to the development of the port area. As a member of the port area, I have a duty to do so, Richelieu said with a smile. At this time, Forbin on the side also finished hanging Richelieu's clothes, then made 2 cups of black tea, brought it over and placed it on the table. "Commander, how do you feel about Free Iris?" Forbin asked with a smile. "It's not bad. It has a completely different style from Royal, Iron Blood, and Northern United. It seems that people can calm down when they come here. I still like it here better. Let's go to the Iris Cathedral to see what it's like when we have time." "Like," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Okay, the most famous thing about Iris is the cathedrals scattered all over the place. Commander has never been here before, so I have to take a good look around this time," Forbin said with a smile. "Definitely, let's all go together when the time comes to visit the church. I believe others are also curious about the Iris Cathedral. When we get there, you have to give it a good introduction. After all, you are experts in this aspect," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Well, no problem. Then the commander and the protagonist will talk first, and I will clean up my room first," Forbin said with a smile, bowed to Richelieu and left the room. Watching Forbin leave, Qin Ji turned to Richelieu and said, "This time when I come to Libre Iris, I plan to ask a few people out, and you will be among them. I hope you won't refuse." Richelieu blushed instantly. It was no longer news that Qin Ji asked someone out. "And everyone will get a ring of oath when they come back. Is it possible that I suddenly told myself such a thing this time?" Thinking of this, Richelieu nodded slightly. "I understand. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 759. After Richelieu, the cutie, agreed to Qin Ji's date invitation, Qin Ji nodded with confidence. After all, among these leaders, Bismarck was the worst at expressing emotions, and Richelieu was the one who didn't know how to express emotions at all. She seems to be a goddess who doesn't understand the fireworks of the world. Even if you get close to her, you feel that she is far away from you. So Qin Ji was very worried that if she refused when he planned to go on a date, it would be embarrassing. This is how Qin Ji went to Richelieu specifically to ask for her opinion. The result was also very satisfactory. This goddess who was not a human being in Qin Ji's eyes now has the thoughts of a mortal. As time passed slowly, Qin Ji also returned to his room. After taking a short rest, he was called by Belfast. Tonight is a banquet prepared for Qin Ji by Free Iris and the Vichy Holy See. Although the banquet has not been missed during this period, it is also part of the etiquette. And among the ship girls who were traveling together, there were still many people who had not fulfilled their dance commitments with Qin Ji. Qin Ji originally thought that the banquet would be held near the church, like the Free Iris and sustaining the Holy See, but he didn't expect that it would be in an old castle for receptions. This made Qin Ji laugh at himself after entering. "Welcome Commander Qin Ji and your ship's wife to this welcome banquet. Thanks to your help, Siren Tide and Iris can save the day. Here we offer our most sincere respect, and in the name of Holy Iris, we award Commander Qin Ji the honor of the Legion of Honor badge for your bravery, your kindness, and your glory. May you also receive God's blessings, Amen." Qin Ji is a little confused now. Although it is a very happy thing to accept the honor, maybe the two Iris are a little too unconventional, because the other camps only formally entered the due process after the welcome ceremony. When Richelieu was welcoming, he had already taken out his badge and his own flag, and put it on Qin Ji's shoulders. However, judging from the reaction of Qin Ji's wife behind her, there should be no danger. Otherwise, someone would have stopped Richelieu the moment she took out the flag. Although the process is wrong, you have to accept what should be accepted. So Qin Ji immediately came to his senses and made a polite return gift, and then Richelieu of Free Iris personally put the badge on Qin Ji's chest. This is a golden medal that looks dazzling when worn together with the medals of several other camps. However, these medals alone already occupy the space on Qin Ji's left chest. Presumably, if all the metals from the 9 major camps are collected, the left side of his clothes will be filled up, right? No, maybe we can start hanging on the right side, Qin thought randomly. After the ceremony was completed, Qin talked with Richelieu and Jean Bart for a while before officially entering free time. Returning to the place where several leaders and ship girls gathered, Qin asked with some confusion what happened just now. Veneto couldn't help laughing and said, they should be treating this as a knighthood ceremony, because for Iris, Richelieu is a cardinal archbishop, second only to the Pope and other figures in the Holy See. It is very difficult for ordinary people to meet him. Therefore, every time a knight is awarded an honor, meeting the cardinal is basically the last step, especially this kind of flag-bearing and honor ceremony. Indeed, this method of conferring honors is second only to the papal conferment ceremony. There is no pope in the Iris theocracy, so this kind of ceremony is considered the highest. Richelieu nodded. I see, I would say that the process is completely different from that of the royal family, the Northern Alliance, and the Iron Blood, Qin suddenly said. However, such a ceremony cannot be used for respectful guests, but I think it is not that they have not considered this, but regard you as a true comrade, Bismarck said on the side. Okay, actually I was a little dazed just now, Qin couldn't help but smile, but it was indeed a banquet that smelled of Iris. By the way, I just talked with Richelieu and Jean Bart about future cooperation. On some issues, their demands are quite different from those of other camps, and they are willing to make maximum concessions. After that, there will be some detailed negotiations and overall cooperation. Then Bismarck and Richelieu will be in trouble. That's no problem. Fighting for the interests of our fleet is what I should do, Bismarck nodded. Yes, Commander. Although Richelieu already knew this, he still nodded. But because Richelieu has something to do tomorrow, I will leave it to the company for the time being. Try to discuss some cooperation and planning between defense and communications tomorrow. Qin looked at the company and said. Enterprise smiled and said, of course there is no problem. Commander, are you planning to take Richelieu out on a date tomorrow? Several other people also looked at Qin with interest. Richelieu had been following him for a relatively long time, so it was expected that he could get the ring, but everyone still wanted to hear Qin say it himself. In the past, Qin might have been embarrassed, but now he is no longer Wu Xiaoman, and he nodded happily, yes, I am going to go on a date with Richelieu tomorrow. Although I have had dates before, this time the meaning is different. So we have to delay for a day. Haha, it seems that the commander is planning to kill all the leaders of our major camps. I wonder if the remaining ones have rings, Soviet Rosia said with a smile. Qin rubbed his nose helplessly, this can't be said to be a clean sweep. After all, you two have been with me for a long time as leaders of the camp, and you have had more contact with each other both at work and in life, so you all know each other well. And the relationship is relatively deep. For this reason, I chose to give you a ring. This is not at all because you are the leader of the camp, so I have to give you rings. Just like when I go back, I may give rings to Magi, but I will never give them to Nagato. Haha, Nagato looks like that, Commander, if he sends it, I'm afraid he will be arrested and put in jail, right, Enterprise said jokingly. It's really hard to say. After all, Nagato is not a destroyer, but a genuine battleship, and one of the world-famous 7. Although it is smaller in size, it cannot be controlled by the military police regulations. Bismarck said, holding his chin. Actually, I think there are some destroyers that are okay, like the Z-23, Furban, Ayanamai, and Javelin. They have obviously broken away from the normal body shape of young girls and are now real girls. Even some cruisers can't compare with them. Veneto said with a smile. Qin coughed quickly and said, ahem, I'm off topic. Let's talk about this issue later. They are not in my plan yet. Hee hee. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 760. Although the destroyer is also very cute, Qin Ji's reason tells him that he must not be tempted, otherwise he will become a pervert. Just like the popular Ark Royal, it is said that every commander who owns an Ark Royal will be worried about his destroyers. Because Ark Royal is a famous slut, not for its commander, but for its destroyers. Perhaps due to history, Ark Royal often travels with destroyers, but after transforming into a ship girl, her pursuit method suddenly changed. I often like to follow behind the destroyer, or else I will hide in an uninhabited corner and take pictures of the destroyer. Although the photo taken is not a crazy photo, but the very cute side of the destroyer, her actions are so speechless, so whenever a commander registers and summons the Royal Ark, the Maritime Safety Administration, the gendarmerie, will pay special attention. If this Royal Ark is found to be spying on destroyers of other fleets besides its own fleet, the military police will immediately arrest them and lock them in a specially designed prison to allow them to reflect. Therefore, when Qin Ji was doing tasks at the Donghuang Maritime Safety Bureau, he could still see some commanders with lunch boxes coming here. The reason was to deliver meals to his ship wives. Give me prison food. Therefore, there is a saying among commanders that if you see a commander going to the Maritime Safety Bureau with a lunch box, you must not let your destroyer get close to his fleet in the future, otherwise he will become a target. Although there is no Royal Ark in his fleet, Qin Ji remembers that there is a Royal Ark in the Ember fleet brought by Helena and the others. He wonders whether the Royal Ark has changed him after experiencing the transformation of the world's destruction. What about his character? At this time, a sneeze came from the room of Ark Royal Meta on the distant island of Guam. Well, Ark Royal pinched his nose and looked around. Why do I feel like someone is saying bad things about me? Helena, who was sitting opposite her, smiled and said, "Do you usually do too many embarrassing things? Otherwise, who would say bad things about you?" Royal Ark shook his head righteously and said, "How could it be possible? I, Royal Ark, am walking and sitting upright, how could I do something unkind?" Helena smiled sarcastically, "So what do you think of Commander Qin Ji's fleet? To be honest, the strength is very poor, even worse than those siren creations we encountered in the main world. But under the command of Commander Qin Ji, it can explode with powerful offensive power, so now it should be below ordinary ships, above fake ones. In addition, the expelled sisters are very cute, and they are not in my judgment. As long as they are responsible for being cute, it is up to us to do the fighting." Royal Ark said. "Ha, as expected, you can never leave the destroyer." Helena smiled, "But don't think about the destroyer here, unless you have to get the consent of Commander Qin Ji, but you can do our destroyer in the embers. Think about it. Just like your royal family, hunters, and others." Royal Ark shook his head. "They look like they are bitter and resentful all day long, and they act very decisively. Even if I want to help them, they don't appreciate it at all. So it's better to forget it. Anyway, we will have many opportunities to cooperate with Commander Qin Ji in the future, and we have to join his fleet, so it is better to just look at the benefits in front of us. But you can't come to my place tonight and talk to me about the destroyer sister. What exactly is going on? Has the plan changed?" The plan is now being implemented very smoothly, and the progress is extremely gratifying. The appearance of the arbitration agency and our appearance this time have made the camps in this world start to feel restless. And they chose to cooperate with Commander Qin Ji, whom we have cooperation with. This is the fundamental reason why they invited Commander Qin Ji's fleet to stay in their camp this time and discuss cooperation projects. And according to Laplace's preview, several major events will happen in the future, so I am going to tell Dreamweaver and ask her to recruit a few people from the original world. Do you have any recommendations for the royal family? Helena said. Royal Ark couldn't help but take a deep breath. You know, there are not many embers left in the royal family now, but if you ask me to recommend, the Reputation sisters meet your standards. Reputation and Counterattack, Helena smiled, they are considered old friends. They are indeed suitable for the environment here, and they also like a relatively peaceful life, don't they? Then should we add hunters? Helena, why do I feel like you are laughing at me? Royal Ark said with a frown. Haha, I think destroyers should not only be cute, but also have certain combat capabilities. Hunter will be a very good teacher. She will help Commander Qin-Ji's fleet destroyers quickly improve their strength. We cannot mix personal emotions. We must know that what we are doing now is to serve all ships and to serve us in the future. It is not necessarily a peaceful life on the distant sea of stars. There will be battles and sacrifices, so we must be prepared from the beginning. Helena said with a smile. Above the sea of stars? I really don't know what the future will be like, Royal Ark said seriously. Although I don't know what the future will be like, I know that the future will be very interesting. Helena walked to the window and looked at the night sky and said, our battle is actually between low dimensions and high dimensions. Battles, but these battles are just scratching the surface. And according to that person, that sea of stars can be connected to higher dimensions, and the battle then will be a direct battle. It is up to us to decide whether to become the guardian of the galaxy to protect our galaxy, or to become a natural disaster and destroy other galaxies. Okay, I understand. Anyway, what I recommend is Reputation and Counterattack. As for the others, you can arrange it yourself. Anyway, the executor this time is you, isn't it? Ark Royal waved his hand. Hee. Qin-Ji now knows nothing about what happened in his port area. At this time, he was in the middle of a banquet, inviting the remaining ship girls to dance, feeling happy but tired. After finally waiting until the banquet was over, he dragged his tired body back to the resting place. Under Belfast's service, she took off her clothes and entered the bathroom. While enjoying Belfast's service, she listened to her talk about the more interesting places in Iris and prepared for her date with Richelieu tomorrow. I suddenly feel so tired. Haha, this is the master's promise, so come on. Faint. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 761. Iris is a place where the temperate ocean climate and the Mediterranean climate intersect. Although the temperature here in January is in the single digits, at least it is considered a warmer place compared to northern United and Iron Blood. Qin-Ji looked at Richelieu beside him and couldn't help but smile. It's rare to see you wearing this type of clothes. Richelieu looked at the slightly casual skirt on his body and looked at Qin-Ji with some confusion. Commander, do you think this dress is bad? I asked Emile to help me choose it. To be honest, I know nothing about this aspect. But since he is Emir, he probably won't have a bad choice. Qin-Ji smiled and shook his head. It's not that it's not bad, but I think it matches you very well. It's just that I've never seen you wear it like this before, so I'm a little surprised. It seems that the commander has a very stereotyped impression of me, Richelieu said with a smile. Although I do appear to be more majestic at ordinary times and rarely come out, there is no rule in Iris's teachings that I am not allowed to rest, and there is no rule that I am not allowed to rest. Smile. I know this. If you can't get happiness by believing in a religion, then this religion can't last long, Qin-Ji said with a smile. But how can I say it? I'm glad that you can go on a date with me today, and it's so different from your usual big side. Actually, it's an honor for me to date the commander. After all, I didn't expect that someone like me would find love one day, Richelieu said. Why do you say that? What does it mean to be a person like you? I think you are quite good. Although you are not as capable as Bismarck and not as lively as Veneto, among the leaders of these camps, you are not weaker than others, Qin Ji said. Thank you, Commander, but that's not what I'm talking about, Richelieu said. Some people once said that I brought war and hated me. Some people respected me because of my status as a cardinal. Some even regarded me as a stubborn religious believer. If the commander hates me, what does the commander think of me? Me, Qin Ji smiled and said, looking at Richelieu's expectant and worried eyes. To me, you are Richelieu, the leader of Free Iris, my ship girl, and a companion for life. As for cardinals, believers, etc., they are just labels for you. It's like what I'm holding is your hand at this moment, not those empty labels. What I can feel is the you I feel, real and endearing. Am I lovable? I've never heard anyone say that. This is the first time I heard the commander say that. I'm a little concerned. I wonder what parts of me are more lovable in the eyes of the commander, Richelieu asked. What are the cute parts? Qin Ji smiled. How do I put this? For example, the way you usually pray seriously, the way you are focused and stubborn on some things, or the way you don't understand some common sense of life at all, they are all very cute in my eyes. Just like an angel falling to the earth, it is so clumsy but endearing and cute. Why do I feel like I am like a child in the eyes of the commander? Richelieu said. Well, of course he's not a child. Qin Ji shook his head and said, it's just a metaphor. But suddenly I feel that this is not bad. At least when I am with you, I can put aside my burden and enjoy the happiness given by God, Richelieu said softly. So is there anywhere you want to go today? It's hard to come to Iris. Is this a bit of a revisit to the old place? Or is it looking for something familiar in memory? Qin Ji said. I don't have any particular place I want to go. If possible, we can go to the church together or go to a cat shop, Richelieu said. Cat shop? Qin Ji asked doubtfully. So Richelieu, do you like cats? No wonder those commander cats have often seen you together since they came to the fleet. Well, Commander, don't you think those cats are cute? They are docile, clingy, and clean, Richelieu said seriously. It's true that cats are very cute. Many girls like cats. I just feel a little sad that Richelieu likes cats. But since you have decided, let's go to the cat shop. A place like a church is too serious. It's obviously not good to use it as the first date place, Qin Ji said. Okay, Richelieu nodded. She also felt that it was not good to use the church as the first date place. The two of them asked people on the roadside for the direction of the cat shop, then walked in that direction, and soon came to a pet shop. There are cats and dogs here, but Richelieu has been unable to walk since he entered the store. The whole person was squatting next to a group of kittens, reaching out to pet the kittens, and the whole person was full of contentment. Although he also guessed Richelieu's obsession with cats, Qin Ji didn't expect that he would be so obsessed with cats. When the two left the cat shop, Qin Ji was amused by the way Richelieu looked back 3 times. To be honest, raising a cat on the boat is a good choice. After all, Qin Ji still knows about the legend of Unsinkable Sam. So under Richelieu's expectant eyes, Qin Ji walked back into the store, bought a few kittens and some cat food and brought them out. How about it? I just saw you in the store and your eyes were always on these ones, so I picked these ones and bought them. I hope they can bring you a little fun. Qin Ji smiled and said. Richelieu smiled as he placed the cat cage in front of his eyes. Thank you, Commander, they are so cute, Richelieu said as he went to pick up the cat cage. However, this action was stopped by Qin Ji. We have a date next, and they are not suitable to be carried around all the time. Why don't we find a place to rest first, call someone in the fleet, and ask them to come over first? Take these back. Okay, although he really wanted to carry these cat cages, Richelieu felt that Qin Ji was right, so he agreed. The two found a cafe nearby and drank coffee while waiting for the fleet to arrive. Sure enough, Emil appeared in the coffee shop not long after. "Ha, Commander and Bishop, you two are on a date today, and you actually called me over. Does something feel wrong?" Emil smiled at the two of them as soon as he entered the door. "Ha, I bought some cats for Richelieu, but I definitely can't take them with me on the next trip, so please help bring them back first," Qin said with a smile. "That's it." Emil looked at the cat cages next to Richelieu and said with a smile, "Leave it to me, Commander, and then just stay with the bishop. She is going to be careful in the morning for today's appointment. A lot of preparations have been made." "I know, so be careful on the road." "Do not worry. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 762. Is this the Iris Church? It feels similar to other churches. Compared with the small church in our port area, it looks a little smaller than here. Qin looked at Richelieu and asked. Richelieu smiled, "Yes, in fact, the size of the church is just to accommodate more believers. In essence, it is the same whether it is a cathedral or a chapel." Qin nodded and said with a smile, "Well, when it comes to knowledge about the church, Richelieu, you have a lot of say." Richelieu looked at the cross in the middle of the church and smiled. "Everyone who has faith is happy, and everyone who respects life will be given light. This is the meaning of the existence of the church and the existence of the church meaning. Maybe I am not the most competent cardinal, but I firmly believe in God. I believe that bathed in the glory of God, our fleet will definitely win the final victory." Qin smiled and nodded, "You're right, we will definitely win the final victory." "Commander, do you have faith? Do you believe in gods?" Richelieu asked. Qin nodded and shook his head, "I have faith, but I don't believe in gods." Richelieu didn't react much when he heard that Qin didn't believe in gods, because belief is free. Just because you believe in gods, you can't expect your commander to also believe in gods. The belief gained in this way is unjust and unjust. "So what is the commander's belief?" Richelieu asked. "Actually, before I came to this world, I was a firm believer in communism, which is the socialism that Northern United believes in," Qin said. "Well, what now?" Richelieu asked. "Now," Qin smiled, "when I first came to this world, I was confused for a while, as if I had lost my direction all of a sudden. It wasn't until I joined the Commander's Academy, and in Dean Wales's high-spirited oath, that I could see the way forward clearly. I am determined to maintain and defend the peace of the ocean and prevent it from being invaded by the Sirens. I must be loyal and conscientious and do my best to defend the freedom and glory we have always cherished. Together with my ship girl, I will protect my world. May courage and strength be with me." Every time I think back to these vows, it is the strength that keeps me going from hesitation and despair, so this is my current belief. Since I can't go back to the original world, I can settle down and start my own career in this world. So far, it seems that this vision has been almost completed." Richelieu looked at Qin. "These oaths are empty words that everyone can say. To establish them, you need to go through countless hardships and sacrifices. Commander, you are a true brave. You have successfully turned these oaths into reality and protected the world after such a long war. It is my honor and the honor of our fleet to be able to experience these things with you by your side. As long as your faith remains unwavering, I believe we will march side by side toward the other side of the light." "Haha, it's like this," Qin smiled, "but this time I came to the church not just to discuss faith. I think this place is very suitable for you, so I also have something to give here. You." As Qin spoke, he reached out and took out a small box from his pocket, held it in front of Richelieu and opened it. Inside was a shining oath ring. "You and I have been together for so long. Although we don't talk about emotional matters in our daily communication, I feel that being together doesn't have to be talked about every day. Just like this, we can understand each other's thoughts. Therefore, I want to put the vow ring on your hand and make a vow between us from now on. With that said, Qin Ji took out the vow ring, then knelt on one knee and said to Richelieu skillfully, "Can you be my wedding ship and stay with me forever?" Looking at the oath ring in front of him, Richelieu's eyes flashed with light. The light was not tears or emotion, but recognition. She spoke softly and said to Qin Ji with a smile, "As the leader of Free Iris, I cannot make any promises to you. But as the battleship Richelieu, I am willing that history will always support and protect you. Existence. In the name of the sacred Iris." Following Richelieu's words, she stretched out her left hand and placed it on Qin Ji's raised right hand. Brother Qin naturally put the oath ring directly on the ring finger of Richelieu's left hand without any hesitation at this moment. At this moment, the two of them were connected heart to heart and soul to soul. The dusk sunlight filtered in from the glass window outside the church, reflecting the church in a dim color. In front of the cross of the church, Qin Ji slowly stood up and held Richelieu, who was wearing the ring, in his arms. Time seemed to have stopped at this moment, everything seemed so peaceful and peaceful. But at this moment, two figures walked in from the church door, but they stopped as soon as they entered the door, and rubbed their eyes in disbelief. After confirming again, one of them shouted loudly, "Yao Xiao, our leader of Free Iris has an oath ceremony with the commander of Donghuang. Free Iris is over." Qin Ji almost burst out after hearing this. "What is this?" Richelieu was also blushing. It was really embarrassing for others to see the intimate moment. This is when the woman standing next to the yelling man suddenly hit the man on the head. "Commander, see clearly, that is not our flagship Richelieu of Free Iris." Perhaps he was sobered up by this sudden shock. The extremely disappointed commander looked at Qin Ji and the two of them carefully. "No, it's Lord Richelieu." "Really?" The ship girl said speechlessly. "She is indeed Lord Richelieu, but she is not Lord Richelieu, the leader of our Free Iris. I think the commander in front of me should be the one notified by the Maritime Safety Administration before. Commander Qin Ji from Donghuang, right? The one next to you is your ship's wife, Lady Richelieu, right?" "Yes, I am Richelieu," my commander Richelieu said to the ship girl. "Hello, Judge Gali Sanier. I'm so lucky. I didn't expect to see another Cardinal." La Gali Sanier smiled. "So, the Cardinal just finished the oath ceremony." "Well, of course it can't be said to be such a simple oath ceremony. It can only be said that I gave Richelieu the ring of oath. The real oath ceremony will be held in our port area when I return," Qin Ji said with a smile. "That's it," Gali Sanier said with a smile. "To make you laugh, my commander fell on his head today, so please allow me to take him out of here to see a doctor without disturbing you too." "It doesn't matter." "Ahem, I'm fine, Gali Sanier. Listen to me, let's go." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 763. After making such a big joke, Qin Ji and Richelieu naturally had no interest in staying in the church. After all, in the Iris theocracy, Richelieu, as a cardinal, knew a lot of people. It would be too ugly to do the same thing as before. Moreover, it was quite late, so the two simply walked towards the hotel together to end today's date. Although the ending today seemed a little imperfect, the whole process went very smoothly and left a very deep impression on the two of them. Returning to his room, Qin Ji found that someone was already waiting in his room. "Huh? Why are you two here today?" Qin Ji was a little surprised when he saw Guanghui and Prince Eugen sitting on the sofa drinking tea together. It cannot be said that the royal family and the iron-blooded old and dead are not in contact with each other, but the ship girls between the two camps rarely sit together and chat peacefully like this. "It's nothing, It's just that the two of us came here to ask the commander how his date was today, so we happened to meet each other, so we chatted and waited for the commander to come back. Guang Hui stood up and came to Qin Ji's side. He said while helping him take off his coat. Qin Ji smiled and said, "Why didn't I feel that you guys were so gossipy before? Haha, how can this be called gossip? This is obviously because you are worried about the commander's emotional problems, don't you think so, little bear?" Prince Yujin said with a smile. Qin Ji's old face turned red. "Ahem, didn't you agree to do it in private? What are you afraid of? Guang Hui is not an outsider, and the two of us also exchanged our thoughts before you came back, so we are not afraid of her knowing these things," Prince Yujin said. Experience. Qin Ji looked at Guang Hui in confusion, and saw a layer of crimson color floating on Guang Hui's face at this time, which made him understand what he had learned in an instant. "I'm talking about you two, do you need to tell me this?" "Of course, because the two of us have a common target. Who can we tell if I don't tell you?" "Should I go to Bismarck and tell her?" Prince Yujin asked with a smile. "Well, Bismarck has been very busy these 2 days. Don't tease her with such questions, otherwise she will be upset and problems will arise during the negotiations," Qin Ji said quickly. "Of course I know," Prince Yujin said, "but having said that, how about today's date with the Cardinal of Free Iris? Why do I think Emile came back with a kitten on the way? Oh, Richelieu and I went to a cat store and bought her some kittens in the store. Since we were dating, we couldn't carry them with us. We had to find someone to pick them up first." Qin Ji replied. "So that's it? I said that when we were in the port area, Richelieu always liked to hold the command cat. It turns out that her favorite was the cat." Guang Hui smiled at the side. "I didn't expect that such a serious cardinal would actually. I like cute animals like cats." Qin Ji smiled and said, "What's this? In fact, I think it's quite normal. Richelieu seems to me like a goddess who doesn't eat the fireworks of the world, but no matter how unversed she is in worldly affairs, she is still a woman child. Girls have little resistance to cute things. Not only Richelieu, but even you, Prince Eugene, don't you like to play with command cats often? Haha, it seems that the commander is quite familiar with girls now. This makes me a little surprised." "Where is the commander who blushed when teased?" Prince Eugene said with a smile. Qin Ji looked at the teasing Prince Eugene and the snickering Guang Hui and said, "People always have to grow up. They can't always be the same as before. In other words, do you like me before or do you like me now, and me? No matter what the commander becomes, he is still my favorite commander," Guang Hui said without hesitation. Prince Eugene on the other side couldn't help but smile. "Should I say that it is indeed glorious? Whether it is our commander or other commanders, the candidates with the highest rankings for the wedding ship are indeed well deserved. No wonder the commander chose you as his first wedding ship and has maintained such a good relationship." Guang Hui smiled sheepishly. "I can't say that. In fact, everyone likes commander, but I am a little bolder and dare to pursue my own happiness. Moreover, after being a free ship girl for so many years, if you meet a commander you like, you must hold on tightly." Qin Ji touched his nose and said, "Okay, it seems that I am the prey." "Haha, does the commander think you are a hunter?" Prince Eugene smiled. "There are so many people in this fleet, and you are the only commander. No matter how you look at it, there are more wolves and less meat, right?" Qin Ji grinned. "Yes, you are all like wolves and tigers, but I am the piece of fat in your mouth." "It's good to know." Prince Eugene smiled. "What happened to you and Richelieu after that?" Qin Ji scratched his head and said, "Richelieu and I went to the church later. That was the place where she usually stayed the most. And because we were in the church, I took advantage of the atmosphere to put the vow ring on her. As a result, while the two were hugging, a commander walked in from outside the church and happened to see the scene." "That must be very interesting, right?" Prince Eugene laughed. Qin Ji had no choice but to say, "It's more than interesting." The commander shouted loudly on the spot. "What? Yaoshao is dead, Free Iris is about to die, the flagship has run away with someone, and so on." Fortunately, his ship girl knew Richelieu as my ship girl, otherwise the misunderstanding would have been huge, and we came back later. Haha, Prince Eugen laughed out of breath after hearing what Qin Ji said. I can suddenly imagine that. It must be very interesting. But that's right. If I were the commander of Free Iris and saw my flagship hugging other commanders, I would have such a big reaction. Guanghui covered his mouth and laughed. So you are all laughing and haven't stopped. Is it that funny? Qin Ji said helplessly, and do you think that if this matter spreads, will the people from Free Iris come to me directly? You said you don't want me to take Richelieu out. No, at most Free Iris will strengthen publicity and will not ground our ship girls. After all, they are begging us to come here this time, and they are the ones who want to strengthen cooperation with us. These things are what they have to consider. It's not about causing trouble for us. Prince Eugen smiled. That's right, Qin Ji nodded. So who are you planning to go out with tomorrow, Commander? Guanghui asked with a smile. Tomorrow? Of course it's our saint. Qin Ji nodded. Jane, it's pretty good. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 764. The date with Joan of Arc was originally very easy in Qin Ji's imagination. After all, unlike Richelieu, she is not the Archbishop of the Iris theocracy, nor is she the general flagship of the Free Iris. Even if someone recognized it, they wouldn't make a fuss. But when the real date began, Qin Ji realized that he was wrong. And the mistake is so outrageous. Who said that dating Joan of Arc is not as conspicuous as Richelieu? This problem actually comes from Joan of Arc herself. Qin Ji knew about the stigmata on Joan of Arc. Because every time she fights, Joan of Arc's body will emit a dazzling light, just like the goddess of war, bringing hope to the companions of Free Iris around her. But before, Qin Ji really didn't know that changes in mood would affect the changes in the stigmata, and also affect the light of the stigmata. The two of them did not go to the cat house for their date like Richelieu did. Instead, they walked slowly around the land of Iris Libra. While recalling the memories here with Joan of Arc, they also listened to Joan of Arc tells her own story. Everything was normal at first, until Qin Ji took out the oath ring at the right time. At that time, you really saw Brother Qin kneeling down in fear and making a promise to himself with very sincere words. The sacred marks on her body bloomed with divine light at this moment. The location of the two of them was not far from the city, and people who discovered this sacred light chased here one after another. When they saw the appearance of Qin Ji and Joan of Arc, they thought it was gods descending to earth. So everyone knelt down like Qin Ji and prayed to Saint Joan of Arc, who was suspected of being a god. Seeing this situation, Qin Ji really wanted to slap himself. It was too conspicuous, right? He quickly pulled Joan of Arc and told the unsuspecting believers that she was just a ship girl, and the two of them fled the place as if they were running away. On the way back, Qin Ji smiled bitterly and said to the embarrassed Joan of Arc, "Why do I feel that dating you has become a little abnormal since I came to Free Iris? Yesterday, when I was on a date with Richelieu, I met a commander who came to the church. He mistakenly thought that Richelieu was the flagship of Free Iris, and many jokes ensued. But today, when I was with you, Joan of Arc, I encountered so many believers visiting the shrine. It was really... I'm sorry." Commander Jean was obviously a little embarrassed, and said to Qin Ji with a blushing face, "Although the stigmata will glow with changes in mood, I didn't expect that he would glow so powerfully, and it attracted so many people. If I had known, I would have controlled my mood and the light of the stigmata at that moment." Qin Ji waved his hand, "It's none of your business. What I just said was just a complaint. Don't pay attention to it." And I'm actually very happy to have such a big reaction from you. I always thought, Joan of Arc, that you were a more unconventional person than Richelieu, but I didn't expect that your mood would fluctuate so much. Joan smiled sheepishly. Commander, are you surprised? In fact, I can do all this because my name carries too many things, so I will not evade these missions. In comparison, I actually feel that Lord Richelieu may be the real saint, whether it is temperament or consciousness. Qin Ji shook his head. How should I put it? I also know the story of Joan of Arc. The spirit she represents is consistent with what you embody. No matter whether the future is full of thorns, full of fire, or full of dangers, they will all move forward. So you don't need to care too much about others, just be yourself according to your own ideas. Richelieu is more suitable to be everyone's backing, while you are the one holding the flag and leading the charge. Joan of Arc smiled. Maybe, but I am very happy to receive the commander's wishes today. Having said this, Joan of Arc raised her left hand and looked at the shining oath ring on her ring finger. I will treat the commander as the most important person. Although I don't know what to do, but I will work hard to learn. Qin Ji smiled and held Jean's hand. Actually, I can teach you at this time, but what I prefer is for the two of us to walk side by side. This is our oath and our agreement. Ye Jean nodded heavily. But at this moment Qin Ji's eyes flashed with surprise again. Well, Jean is shining again. Ah, Joan of Arc looked at her body, and sure enough, the light was revealed from the clothes she was wearing and was flashing. Looking at the passers-by who were looking here in shock, Jean panicked and asked, Commander, what should I do? Qin Ji covered his face and said, Run, otherwise a group of people will come around later and pray to you as a goddess, and it will take a long time to explain. Before Jean could agree, Qin Ji pulled her and started running. When they returned to the hotel, it was not dark. In order to compensate for Joanne, Qin Ji did not go back to his room as soon as he came back. Instead, he went to her room with Joanne to drink tea and chat. It wasn't until the sky was completely dark that Qin Ji left with Jean's reluctant eyes. He had just walked out of Joan of Arc's room, but he met Emile who was about to go back to his room. The rooms of several people at Free Iris are all connected, so this coincidence is not surprising. Ha, I found the commander. Emile smiled lively at Qin Ji. How was your date with Miss Joan of Arc today? It must be very romantic, right? Romantic, Qin Ji couldn't help but smile bitterly. Well, it's not romantic, but it's a bit surprising later on. Ah. What happened? Did he get recognized again like yesterday? Emile asked doubtfully. You also know that Joan of Arc has a holy mark on her body, and it will glow when her mood swings are relatively large. So when I gave her a ring today, her whole body was filled with light, making people around her think she was a goddess descended from the gods. Then they all ran over to worship her. It took a long time to explain before they escaped from there. Qin Ji touched his nose and said, Ha 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 ha. Emile laughed after hearing this. Suddenly I discovered that the commander's dates are always full of surprises, so I finally became interested in the commander's dates. Why wait until later? Why not tomorrow? Qin Ji said with a smile. Tomorrow? Commander, are you sure you're not joking? Emile asked in surprise. Of course not. Does it mean that Emile is not ready yet? If that is the case, then leave it until later, Qin Ji said. No, I'm ready at any time. It's just that the commander suddenly said this to me, which made me feel a little surprised. But it's really a surprise. Regarding tomorrow's date, I will definitely be well prepared, Emile was happy said. Qin Ji nodded, and after confirming some things with Emile, he waved to leave. But after taking a few steps forward, he turned back. Well, you don't have any stigmata, right? No law.